Welcome, everybody. In this episode, we're working on the Polestar. Yes, I said working on. We're going to do probably the simplest, easiest mod is a rear sway bar. And in the trunk here, I have that perfectly wrapped up. It came in the box. And some hardware or stuff. I'm assuming it's the polyurethane mounts and everything for it. But this should theoretically take 15 minutes, so please enjoy this short install video and why we're doing this on the Polestar. First, let's find out what's in the box. So we cut that. Installation instructions by IPD. Yay. Yep. We have our nice polyurethane new bushings along with some grease to prevent any squeaking. So that's all you need. The sway bar, those, the end links maybe. I might get those later. So the first thing you're going to want to do is lift the rear end of the car so both wheels are off of the ground and on jack stands. This will relieve the pressure from the sway bar. And as we come closer, you can see the sway bar. It's got two bolts here, same thing on the other side, and then it's got its end link on this side. Fairly simple to remove and to install, and you can also see the nice fancy Olin suspension in there. So the first thing you're going to want to do, 13 millimeter undo. I'm just going to loosen everything first, and then I'm going to start by taking the end link off. So that's that side, and then we have the same over here. Sorry, camera. So just to loosen, apparently the car is dirty underneath from road grime, so I'm gonna have to take a bath again afterwards. Oh my gosh. So clearly it is spinning when it's not supposed to, but there we go. There is an Allen hole at the top. Okay. So the cool thing about these hollow sockets is you could put stuff inside of it, like I'm about to do. You can even do it with a wrench, I suppose. There we are. And now that was a 5 millimeter Allen or hex and a 15 millimeter socket for the end link. IPD does sell the end links, but I wanted to see first how the car feels with the OEM material. Repeat on the other side. 15 millimeter socket. I have a hollow socket. 5 millimeter hex or Allen. And the end link come right off. Now we are going to completely remove these. Remember, we loosened them up, but we did not remove them yet. Apparently these are full of grime and grease. We are going to be reusing these, so keep them close. Repeat the steps on the other side. Make sure to hold it as you are removing it, so it just doesn't come crashing down on your camera equipment or on you with the last bolts. That slides right out. With a lift, there will be a little bit more clearance to be able to, see that one's out. This one, there we go. You have to make sure you unclip it from the end link. With a new set of gloves that are nice and clean, and your new Swaybar, I'm doing this in the Polestar, so that way you guys can see a little bit better. You're going to fill these grooves up with grease, and we're going to use about half. So right now, I would say we've got 5 teaspoons, so I'm going to go to 2.5, or 1 teaspoon, but 5 milliliters, and we're going to go to a half teaspoon, or 2.5 milliliters. And you just want to there we go. It's a little messy. You're going to get your finger in there, roll it around so it's in all the grooves. I would not advise doing this in your vehicle like I am, but it's to show you. And this is to prevent any squeaks, any leftover that's stuck on my finger. I like to rub on top. That way there won't be any squeak on that. Now we're going to be putting it over here, and it's on the outside of the stopper. So this opens up, goes right on. This slides over. Boom. That side is done. I'm gonna get a little cloth to clean up any excess from my hands and fingers because I don't want to make a huge mess. Gonna rotate this around, repeat for the second one. Again, open it up, use up the rest. All that's in there. Get your finger, smear it on all the grooves. And any excess, just put on top. There we are. Again, go on the outside and slide over and clean up any leftover residue. Reversing our steps, we're gonna put this in now. The key thing too, when you're putting this in, is you want the end link holder to be on top, not on the bottom. So if you see the way this is angled, if I had it the other way, it would not go in, and I'd have to come out and redo it. The other thing is after you lay this in, is get some Loctite, which I'm going to do right now. The Loctite is for the bolts, because when they came out, they had a little bit of Loctite on there. So what I'll do is put a little on there when I put them in, and it'll be good to go. But right now, let's get this up and in. Too much up underneath the CV boot. And over to that. And where the heck I put this one? There's one. do. So if you see, it goes underneath the CV boot and back up onto that. So right now, I'm not putting the Loctite in right now. I just want this to hold it. So we're gonna use this one just right now, just to hold it in place. So that way it's not just falling down on my head. And I'll remember to take that one out and put some thread locker on that. But I just wanted it so I can install the rest of everything else. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Just put one bolt in. We've got one bolt. Don't forget your Loctite. We've got end link and end link. So when we put these in, again, thread lock, Loctite, whatever you want to call it. A little bit of, I'm using red in color. You could use blue. I've got a very low red that I have here. Just hand tight first. Okay, I'm gonna take this one out and redo this one. I don't even think you guys can see that because I've moved the camera. Alright, so those are in. Now don't forget your end links. These are about 10 to 15 foot-pounds of torque. And there you have it. That's how you install a rear sway bar, nice and blue, IPD, on a Volvo V60 Polestar. Let's measure them and see how big both models were, OEM and this new one that we put in. This new one is definitely bigger. But I want to get an exact measurement versus just what the advertiser says. This is going to tell me that is at exactly 1 inch. So that's 25 millimeter, which is what advertised was 25.4, 2.54 centimeters in an inch. Or 25.4, it's exactly 1 inch. Let's go measure the OEM one. I put into a bag that the IPD came in, so that way it won't make everything all greasy and stuff. But let's measure this right here. It's zeroed out. It's definitely smaller. 0.874 of an inch. So if we switch it over to millimeters, that is 22.2 millimeters versus 25 millimeters. So there's a significant difference there on the small scale for a rear sway bar. So that is how you install rear sway bar. And with that, we're gonna go for a drive on this next episode. So stay tuned and see this drive.